number 6. So, development contributions remission application for Hereford Limited. We don't need to rotate the staff there, so that's a saving there. So, would you like to introduce this one as well?
Yeah, so once again, this one, staff assessment is declined, purely because, the credits have expired in this case.
Mike, please.
The credits have expired in this case, and this is listed as one of the barrier sites. But of the barrier sites, as you'll see in the table there, the credits, there are other developers that have paid development contributions. So of those, DC's paid, so there's 3 developments have paid because their credits have expired, and that's 58,000. There's 5 assessments currently out there waiting for development, which will equate to $693,000 in DCs. And some of the DCs were actually rebated on those sites prior to the rebate scheme expiring. So approving a remission in this case, we're going, once again, believe it'll set a precedent for other developments in the central city or as one of the barrier sites listed that are still haven't been developed.
Yes, that word precedent comes up a bit, doesn't it? So I'll open it up for questions. So Sarah?
No, actually, I was just going to move the staff recommendation.
Moved by Sarah, seconded by Celeste.
So, had a question, Pauline?
Yanni, yep.
Yeah, thank you. I guess I'm just trying to understand, given that we had a rate rebate scheme for this city, and obviously we no longer do it, and given that I'm trying to understand why this wouldn't be seen as unique, given that they are trying to get progress on a building, and we've previously in the past made decisions to support developers with DCs where they've expired and given people an extension of time. So if we gave an extension of time, is that something we could do rather than the remission? Give an extension of the DC credit?
An extension of time to pay? Is it?
No, like, so could we extend, like we've done in other cases, the DC credits? So effectively, they wouldn't pay DCs within a longer period of time.
No, we haven't. Sorry.
Gavin, respond.
We haven't extended the life of any credits beyond what's provided for in the policy. With your rebate scheme in the past, there was a clear criteria and a rationale for why the council had a rebate scheme in place, and that was to promote certain types of development. What we're looking at here, what we need to look at with these remission applications is there a reason why requiring DCs is particularly unfair to this particular development? And in all of these cases, we have decided that there is nothing unfair about charging the development contributions. So if for some, to us, they look more like a grant than a remission, and we don't have the benefit of a grant scheme within which to judge each of these applications. So all of the applications have been treated similarly, and none of them are deemed to be unreasonable in terms of the requirement to pay DCs, which is why the recommendations are as they are.
Thank you.
Sorry, I don't know if you can raise the question about it in public, but we have made decisions around DCs being given a longer period of time to be utilised and transferred for very similar reasons as are outlined in this report. So I guess what I'm trying to understand is why the different approach with this developer.
No, we've entered into an agreement in accordance with provisions in the policy. And the policy doesn't provide for, there is no amalgamation of site, for example, in this situation, where that would trigger a restart of the 10-year life of the credits. So we're left with the fact that the credits have expired and we have no way to reliven them, if you like.
All right, thank you. Jake, no, sorry, James, and then Jake.
Thank you very much. Of the three developers that have paid DCs since the expiry of their DC credits, were those redevelopments for Dirty 30 sites or derelict barrier sites?
Yes, they were.
They were.
Yeah.
Okay.
All good?
What? Okay. No. Actually, that's all right. Thank you.
Thanks, Jake. All good. All right, so it's been moved and seconded. Are there any other questions? All right, I'll put it for discussion. Oh, Aaron, do you have a question?
Just kind of a question around, because obviously the 10-year period's lapsed, but with the new owner, when they bought it, is there not a time thing if they've submitted their plan of what they wanted to do within that 10-year period? Does that mean that there's any wiggle room, or is the 10 years just fixed to the building and that's it?
The 10 years runs if they complete their application for consent. In this case, I think it was building consent.
Yeah.
Yep.
Inside the 10.
Inside the 10 years, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But the credits had expired before they bought the building, and they were aware of that.
Right. Okay.
Which
that's
is
clear.
what it says in the report.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, any discussion? No? All right, I'll
Yeah.
put it up.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, go, James.
If I may.
Yes.
Yeah. Look, my preference is actually to offer the development contributions remission scheme. No, I am conscious that there have been some that have paid them, but I think that if on a case-by-case basis, if people come to the council, that is the point of council, to look at things through the lens of the timing, the building, the objective that we want to achieve as a city. So, I'd like to foreshadow the motion that the council approves the request of the development contributions remission for the Hereford Street Limited, on the basis that, to be really frank about this is the worst of the worst. There have been people that have attempted to try and give us the outcome that we as a city want, which is for this derelict blight on the landscape to be redeveloped and paying rates again and populated, and it just hasn't been commercially viable to happen. So I think there is a time and a place for council assistance, and in my view, this is a prime example of that. So for those reasons, I will foreshadow the motion and to approve the request for the remission. Thanks.
Thank you. Sarah?
We'll need a seconder.
It's been seconded.
Foreshadow, James.
Oh, sorry. Yes, James is your motion, your foreshadowed motion will need a seconder. Is there a seconder for James?
Yeah,
I
that's me.
thought that. Are you sure? Just like that's fine. Sam was obviously happy to second it, but I thought that was for an amendment. You'd need a seconder for a foreshadowed motion, wouldn't it? Just if it failed, then that would become the substantive.
Yeah, but that'll also need.
Either or, I'm happy either way.
Yep.
If Sam's happy to second it, then
Yep.
No, I've been told you don't need it, so
Okay.
I figured I asked that question.
So, are there any other any more debate? Tim?
Yeah, look, I'm going to support the staff recommendation. I think that the building was bought after the expiry time, so it's been bought with their eyes open. So I can see no argument for changing that. So thank you very much for the report.
Yanni's got his hand up.
Yanni?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I just have a lot of sympathy with trying to get something done with a building in the central city that, again, from a sustainability point of view, I don't know why we'd encourage buildings to be knocked down and rebuilt. There's an opportunity to save an existing building, which is much better for the climate. It's much better for sustainability. And we have actually in the past made deals with developers to try and get certain outcomes. And I personally can't see why, given what's in the letter around the increased cost of the earthquake repairing, strengthening, and the other challenges that people are facing with particularly in the COVID environment. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm struggling with the fact that, we've had a massive increase in the cost of doing things in our city that is unique and compelling and is unlike any other times that I've certainly been on council. And we see that with our own projects as well. So, I would far rather be supporting this developer to get the plans done and get something restored, repaired, and back into action rather than not. I think it would be a very small cost to fund this. I think it's consistent with other decisions we've made in the past, and probably has more merit in my personal view. So, yeah, I would support it. So I won't be voting to decline it.
Thank you. Aaron?
I think Yanni made a really good case then, a surprising one, as Jake's pointed out, but he has made a good case around the greenest building's a building that's already built. The other equation I look at here in the economic one is the sooner this is no longer a dog where it is, it's an eyesore and it's turned into a new use, we'll collect the rates on the new building. So it will suddenly, but if it sits like this for another 10 years, it'll cost us a lot more money. So I support what Jamie and Yanni are saying on this. It actually makes more financial sense and environmental. So let's see where the table votes.
No further. Sarah's going to wind it up. I'm just concerned about the precedent, and we could be looking down the barrel of 8 million. If we've got a policy, we have a staff recommendation, and staff have looked into this very carefully. So I'll be tending to support the staff recommendation on this. So I'll throw it to Sarah to wind up.
Thanks. I think we need to go with the staff recommendation on this one. It's really clear that in this particular circumstance, and I agree with looking at things on a case-by-case basis, but in this particular circumstance, the person who has purchased the site has done so knowing that the DCs have, the DC credits have expired, and they would have factored all of that into their calculations on whether to go ahead with doing this. It is a site that we would like tidied up, but I don't think that a DC remission is the way to help fund anything. They could apply to us for funding through other methods as an outright grant of some sort, as opposed to this. This does set a precedent. There are other sites in similar circumstances that if they all came to us and we said, oh yes, every time, because actually we'd rather do that, that's $8.1 million. That's 1.5% on rates for people who have these sites that they own that are valuable, who are for whatever reasons not currently doing that and developing them. I think that our communities would be much better served by us giving rates and remissions to places like the Cancer Society and the Braintree Trust over private developers, even though those sites are currently unsightly in our central city. Thanks.
All right. On that note, I'll put that motion. All those in favour of the staff recommendation, say aye. Aye. Opposed? So
No.
Opposed is
No.
Do you want division? Okay.
Yeah, it's close.
Alright, division for the officer recommendations. Councillor Kewen? Councillor McClellan?
Yes.
Councillor McDonald?
No.
Councillor Henstock?
No.
Councillor Moore?
Abstain.
Councillor Scandrett?
Yes.
Councillor Harrison Hunt? Yes. Councillor Coker? Yes. Councillor Fields?
Yes.
Councillor Peters?
No.
Councillor Templeton? Yes. Deputy Mayor Cotter?
Yes.
Councillor Johansson?
No.
Councillor Donovan? Yes. Councillor Goff?
Aye.
No.
So yes, was it a yes?
Can you confirm that, Councillor
James,
Goff, please?
can we have you?
I'm clearly a no, given that I
I
foreshadowed
thought so.
the motion.
I'm going to say it sounded like a no to me, but not a yes.
Sounds like an aye to me.
8 for, 6 against, 1 abstention. Carried.
That's carried. Thank you.
So can we go
So,
back to item
no,
five?
what I'm going to do is we're fairly close to morning tea. I'm going to